In the master's chamber, say, gathered for the feast. Started for the silly knives, but they just can't go deep. I think I remember I was running for the girl. I found a dozen times, the place I was for. The lights said I can be all programmed to see you. Take on every time you like, you can't have to live.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hope you enjoyed that. So now you have no complaints. You can go to your friends and say, I've been there, done everything else. So fantastic. Do you watch Coffee with Karan by any chance?
Yeah, of course.
Gee, I know.
I'd seen only one episode, so.
Okay, yeah. You really don't have spare time, do you?
Sorry?
You really don't have any spare time, do you? So it's fine. You have not missed anything, so no complaints. So, are you aware of rapid fire round? You know how it works? Well, it's simple. We'll ask you quite a few questions. You'll have to answer them as quickly as you can.
Okay.
Okay? Okay, so starting off, these are the simpler ones. It's going to get a little tricky as we go along. First question. Have you ever downloaded anything from torrents?
Have you?
Ever downloaded anything from torrents?
Of course, movies.
This is on video, so I think you better get a lawyer or something.
The biggest plus of being a CEO?
You can be your own boss, or sometimes you can be late at office.
One thing Suhas can't live without?
Without music and the BlackBerry.
Choose woman with beauty or woman with brains?
Maybe I could say it has to be a mixture of both.
It's a really impressive answer.
One thing Suhas would like to change in his past?
One thing Suhas?
Would like to change about his past?
I think the mics are too acoustic, yeah.
One thing Suhas would like to change in his past?
Okay, maybe I wish I could have started after a few years, so that I could have enjoyed my student life.
Arranged or love marriage?
Maybe it's the latter one.
Sure. Complete this sentence. Success for you is?
Success will not have a full stop, so I could say success is an ongoing process.
You done?
You have.
Your biggest fear.
Of losing my friends.
Your favorite food joint and favorite food? Favorite food place and favorite food?
My favorite food place is Food Street in Vivipuram, and the second one was
Favorite food?
I love pastas. It's my favorite food.
Is cuteness a plus point while hiring female employees?
Of course, attendance of the male employees is always at the peak.
Okay, name two corporate rivals.
Sorry.
Name two corporate rivals.
I don't consider them as my rivals at all, because I consider them as a mountain which you need to overcome.
Very diplomatic, okay.
What do you do in your free time?
In my free time, I watch Scooby-Doo cartoons, so...
Any specific cartoon in particular?
Yeah, I mean, I love Scooby-Doo, and because I love dogs, and that's
Great.
all.
So if not a CEO, who would Suhas be today?
If I wasn't a CEO, I would have been... I would have opted to study veterinary science, so I would have opened my own veterinary hospital or a clinic.
Describe Suhas in 1 or 2 words.
I could say impatient and aggressive.
Fantastic. So I think we are done with the rapid round fire. So you answered perfectly and very honestly. Thank you for that. I think we would like to know what it is like to be a CEO at such a young age. What is your daily routine like?
So once I start my operations, I first go to the office, and I would first access my mails to see if there were some important mails, or if there were some unfinished work from the past working days. So as a first priority is actually to finish all my accumulated work from the past days, and after that I certainly would make sure that if I could meet some of my managers and have their inputs. I rather, instead of I being a speaker at my own company, I would rather want to be the listener from my own staff, or maybe from other managers. And next in the evening, I visit outside the office to see if I can have some light snacks, and again I come back. So I can start back with interacting with our operations abroad or with the business partners abroad, and I reach home somewhere by midnight. And so the best part is my mom is still awake, so she's still waiting for me. So continuously we start receiving phone calls from 11 o'clock onwards until midnight. And I see to that I don't eat as much as possible outside, because half the time I'm abroad. So as far as I'm in home, I would like to see if I can visit my home, and if I'm able to eat there, maybe at least the last meal of the day. So, and after that, I watch some music before I sleep, and that's my. So it is a weekday, but when it comes to weekend, I could say I'm mentally isolated with work unless and until I've got some super important.
Thank you so much for answering that. So you're setting up business across the world, and setting up. I think now you're moving into Germany as well. Could you
We've already moved in there. It is where our European headquarters is there.
Oh, fantastic. I mean, could you tell your current ambition, and where do you see Globals Inc. 5 years down the line?
I could say, so within 5 years, I'm very sure that our company would be listed in the stock markets, and we would like to see if we can if we are able to, if we could, I mean, I'm sure that we would be a market leader when it comes to software products for the education sector, and at the same time, we would like ourselves to be the, I could say, the social innovators when it comes to addressing in the emerging market. So we may have, so at this point, if you've seen, the majority of our expansion has been in the Western market or in the Middle East. So at this point, we want to see if we can aggressively expand in the emerging markets like Africa, India, or the other emerging countries itself.
So Global Sync will be going public, take an IPO in US.
Exactly. So currently we're aiming for an IPO in India and after that in the US.
Sure. So did you fly to US to register your company, or did your friends help you out there?
So the best part of incorporating a company in the US is that if we have a laptop here, we can start the company in about 15 minutes. So it's as simple as that. So it's unlike India. You need not have to be there. You need not have to be there physically. And when incorporating in the US, they would not ask for your age as well. So and you can still operate accounts, and you still can be on the board of a company. So it was one of the advantages of starting in the US.
Can you tell us about the current scope of entrepreneurship in India?
I could say entrepreneurship, when it comes to entrepreneurship, right, that is, I mean, you've got these NEN cells, and you've got this entrepreneurship workshops, and you've got programs. But ultimately because I've seen this, because I used to speak in universities about entrepreneurship. I speak to the students for an hour long about entrepreneurship, about the satisfaction of being an entrepreneur, everything. And so when you're walking out, you have a student who comes to you and says that, hey, I need your email address because I want to forward you my CV. So it is when I used to realize that at least in India, we still have a mindset where you got the society or you got your family members who are saying that, hey, you cannot be an entrepreneur as of now because we are a middle class family, we are a non-business family. So if you need to be an entrepreneur, you need to have some work experience. And of course, I can understand, and I can feel with them, because I know that for a middle class family, when they feel that when he is an entrepreneur for the first few months or for the first few years, his enterprise may not be stable enough, and he may not have a fixed salary every month. So if you were an employee who is working for 9 to 5. You have a financial security, you have the work security, you are very stable and sustainable. But when you're an entrepreneur, of course, every day is the new life, and you need to face this new roadblocks every day. But at the same time, when you're an entrepreneur, you should also look in the other way that, of course, the first 1 year may be extremely hard, but I could say entrepreneurship is like an adventure. So if you have a mindset where you want to face this new roadblocks or hurdles, you want to experiment every day, I think entrepreneurship is something which you need to opt, because I personally, I always used to feel that entrepreneurship itself is like an adventure. So it makes it very exciting, and you face this new roadblocks every day. You meet or you start interfacing with some exciting incidents, and you have an experience associated with it. Apart from that, the satisfaction of you being your own boss is the fact that you can be extremely innovative. You can see how well your organization is able to add more value to the society that we live in. You're able to offer employment opportunities to these eligible unemployed youth, because in case if everybody wants to be an employee, I mean, like we are still increasing the unemployment of these eligible youth in India or in any other parts of the world. You do have these advantages of entrepreneur, and of course the other advantage which I would like to mention is when I was in my first semester in my engineering, you usually have these sessions where the seniors wants the freshers to be introduced, right? So they walk into your class in the presence of the lecturers itself. So they say that, okay, now all the freshers, I want you to introduce yourself, and or they meet you in the lunch breaks. So On my first day at my college, I had my seniors who walked to me and indicated, okay, fine, so as we'll exempt you from these sessions, because I'm in my 6th semester now, so I'll be forwarding you my CVs, so I would not want my future employer to attend this session. So at the same time, I could say entrepreneurship is more fun because of the fact that you can be very innovative, and you have all the freedom to go with.
So you're also on the advisory board of World Bank and Entrepreneurship Panel in India. What's your experience been like?
I could say when I received the invitation from Mr. Robert Zolik, who heads the World Bank, the first thing is I could say it was for sure one of the most unforgettable moments of my life, because when he asked me to become the board member of World Bank, that is something which I was entirely surprised. And when I attended my first meeting at the World Bank's board, I saw that you had representation from across the world except India, and I knew that I was the only one who was sitting on the ICT board of the World Bank who was representing India. And at the same time, I also realized that especially World Bank, which is a multilateral organization, especially if you look at the board members in World Bank, you find everybody who are in their 50s or 60s who've seen the world. And so when I asked Mr. Robert Zolik that, for what reason did you have to invite me, because I'm sure that within India you got more successful enterprises. You could have invited other CEOs who could also represent this board, because I used to see the American CEOs, like you see Steve Ballmer, or you see the CEO of Cisco or others there. So, and I'm from India, a small company from India, so who is on the World Bank's board. So really I couldn't understand. So what Mr. Zolik replied was, since as ICT board, we want to see how well the World Bank can improve the education systems in emerging countries to see that employability is enhanced, entrepreneurship is enhanced. And his opinion was that you still cannot have an American CEO who may not be from that, who may not have experienced that ecosystem which I or you may be facing here in India. So his opinion was, we certainly, as a World Bank, we recognize the importance of the youth community, and it is why we wanted this representation. So I could say it was certainly my unforgettable moments. But when I was about to attend this World Bank meeting, I had the security who stopped me and who asked me to apply for a student pass if I had to enter the World Bank, because they felt that I wanted to see the World Bank as a part of a study tour of my university. So and I had to reveal out that, okay, unfortunately I'm no more a student, and I'm actually a CEO of a company, and of course, it was an interesting experience.
That's very interesting. Are you responsible for pushing in any of these policies? Have you, for example, in Entrepreneurship Panel in India, do you see that they're doing a good job?
Sorry? I also serve on the board of IIT Bombay Entrepreneurship Cell, where I could say these universities, at least at IITs, we've seen that I think the entrepreneurial spirit has already been ignited amongst the students. So if I meet any student from IIT, the first option is he would like to see if we can have a startup which can be innovative, or he recognizes an opportunity which he can solve. So I was really happy to see this like a mindset amongst the students, where it's not like the earlier years where you meet, when I used to meet somebody from IIT Bombay, you have to say that, okay, I'm aiming to work at Microsoft or Infosys. So at this point, I'm so happy to see the students telling me that, hey, I found this opportunity, so I have this amazing idea which I think that I can establish my own startup, and I'm able to solve the pain points which we face there. So. So in IIT Bombay Entrepreneurship Cell, we offer funding to any students. So we offer the early stage funding, or with the seed capital to the students who can have amazing ideas. And of course, it's not restricted only to the IIT students. So it is open for everybody. So we organize events, business plan events, in where students across India submit their plans, which the board evaluates and sees in case if we need to offer funding to this company or not.
Being so young, starting so young, being the youngest CEO of the world, what are the other challenges that you've been facing in your everyday life?
I could say that when we are very young, one of the sad part is, especially for the business partners whom you interface with, they see you as an organization which can be exploited. So they see that, okay, he's so young, so he may not have the legal machinery or he may not have the financial machinery, so we can see if we can exploit him because he's not seen the world yet, so I can have an advantage on this. And I personally have faced where, like, one of the business partners, he felt that, okay, I can speak to him by this nice words, and of course finally I can exploit him, or I can have him on a ride. So and at the same time, maybe the other roadblocks which I used to face was, for example, when I was under 18, I could not sign on agreements, by which we used to lose some of the high-valued orders, because you feel that, okay, we want to associate with a CEO who can actually sign on paper. So of course, when you're under 18, and I remember that this was one of the projects from Singapore, and it had indicated that, okay, so we cannot work with you because you're still 16 or 17. So even if you sign on this agreement, it has no value. And I have one small video as well to show where until a few years back I used to have a mustache, and so it was mainly is that like whenever I had to meet some maybe some minister, or I had to work with some administrators, or especially when I had to meet the other CEOs in India, they always used to have this mindset that, okay, in case if it's a CEO, he needs to be old enough, he needs to be in his 40s or 50s, so he looks old and he looks experienced. So they always used to associate maybe the experience, the skill sets with the age. So at some point I had to look old, and at other occasions I had to send somebody else who could actually front end our organization. So especially in the Indian society, I could say that when you're very young, you're not well expected, or you're not fully accepted as a successful entrepreneur when you're very young.
Daniel Sagar here has a very active e-cell, and which has got a strength of 300 students. And in the audience itself, we have a lot of startups and people who are thinking about starting up. What are your advice? What is the do's and don'ts for the new startup ventures?
I could say that, of course, as I indicated, that when you're an entrepreneur, you have the full freedom and the satisfaction of you being your own boss. And especially for a startup, I would suggest that you got several startups which have already been opened and which have also failed. So I would suggest, especially for aspiring entrepreneurs, if they can identify the opportunities around us, because I could say within India we've got like hundreds of opportunities which we are not sure of. So when you're an entrepreneur, you always have to have your eyes open. I could say the success for any entrepreneur is if the ability for him to evaluate opportunities around him. After he evaluates an opportunity, if he can have an idea, or he can have a solution by which he is able to solve the pain points. For example, in our case, so we realized that we had the teachers in education institutions who were spending significant amount of their working hours in administrative affairs. So it is when I thought that, okay, I see the pain point here for the education institutions, because for any education institutions we realize that the teachers have to focus on academics and of course not on administration. So we thought, okay, so why don't we make this software where we automate the administration so that the teachers can focus on academics. So it was the pain points that we were able to solve, and it was certainly an opportunity. And exactly similar to it, we also saw another opportunities like we saw that I mean in Indian market or African market, I mean we used to see that enormous amount of fake medicines were there in the markets, because if you have a medicine strip in maybe in some village in the North Karnataka, you would not know in case if this aspirin strip is authentic or if it's a fake. So the other solution which we thought, for which we applied a patent, was that we started to introduce scratch code on the medicine strip. So whenever the user purchases the medicine strip, he simply have to scratch a code and he has to send out a SMS to our SMS server which authenticates if this medicine was in our supply chain server or not. So I could say that you got the simple solutions which are not rocket science. And as far as you have the ability to evaluate opportunities, I could say that you can make success. If you look at Facebook, for example, so for me, somebody from the technology background, I don't think Facebook is extremely innovative, but our business model is extremely innovative, because I'm happy about Mark Zuckerberg, the way he was able to identify the opportunities, because he felt that I really have to make an online platform where the student community can interface. So he launched Facebook, and at the moment it's so successful. So I could say that, I mean, especially for the startup entrepreneurs, always have your eyes always open, always look out for opportunities. So it is extremely essential.
Thank you. And even the college plays a big role. Do you have any suggestions for the teachers and the college in order to encourage your aspiring entrepreneurs?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to say that especially for the lecturers and teachers, in case, I mean, instead of having the mindset of the students to focus only on the bookish knowledge, in case if they start encouraging the students to implement their studies in some experiments or practical learning, I would say that for students, if they can offer more assignments, which includes workshops or which includes more interaction, it enhances their soft skills, and it also enhances their ability to be more innovative. Because I could say that with our education system, we sometimes feel that, especially the innovation factor is quite suppressed. So it is very important, especially for the faculty, to actively emphasize to the students about innovation. In case if they're showing a source code, if they can ask a student who could be here and who could tell that, okay, how well he can optimize the source code, or if he has some other algorithm by which he can achieve the same output.
Thank you so much. You're very right. I mean, support from teachers and family is very much required. And we have a testimonial video from your brother. Please take a look.
Hi Suhas, I'm sure everybody surprised to see your very shy brother on the screen here. And so that's me, Shreyas' his brother, and this is my wife Ashwini. And so I don't know, I mean, there are a lot of things to share about what me and Suhas have done over the years. We have played games where we scare each other when we come out of the bathroom. It's like the most favorite game, because I used to scare him since he's the younger one. We used to play a lot with G.I. Joe toys, building our own model worlds and all that. And I never imagined that we'd grow up to be so big and so famous. But I always knew that we'd do something very well. That's what I used to tell my mother. And he's proved all my intuition right. And I'm very, very proud of what he's done. And I wish him all the best.
A few things which maybe not everyone knows about Suhas is that he has this ability to fall asleep just anywhere. He can sleep when the TV is loud and blaring and there's some 10 guests, but he can just sleep right in the middle of anything without any worries, which I think is possible only if you have a very clear conscience. So, and that is something which I appreciate a lot about Suhas, is his very childlike spirit, and beneath, I think, all his capability and his intelligence and all his hard work, he has some kind of innocence, which I think, which is that spark which makes him want to do more, and it's all like a game to him, and which I think he should keep alive for a long time.
Hi, Suhas. Surprised to see us here together. So we are here to say a few words about you. So when did you meet him, Amrita?
6 years back.
Okay. I think I got to know him through you.
Yeah. It's quite funny. So I was really very nice guy and down to earth guy. I would have never felt that being the CEO is so down to earth, but he's an extremely down to earth person, and it's so good to be with him because it's more or less like he makes your day. He's so fun loving person, and he's really a very knowledgeable person. Apart from it, he really motivates you just like this. You know, if you meet him, you kind of feel like working with him and making sure that things are there. You feel like working with him all the time. And yeah, I think
I'm since 6 years. So it's been like I never felt that he's a CEO, he's an extraordinary guy, or he's somebody with all media around him. He comes every day in a newspaper or a magazine or wherever on TV you see him. But we don't feel like, oh, he's our friend. No, never. He's very down to earth person. He's very friendly, very helpful, very kind. He has been with me through my ups and downs. It's really fun to be with him.
and his sense of humor is
And you can see like many number of times.
we've got food together, umpteen number of times. There's no count about it. And one thing about him is he can stay without food, but he will never stay without a computer and internet. So so it's fun. It's just that I think we are friends for life, for time, and we're about 8 to 9 people together. We're friends. We are